Hello students, welcome in today's class. Today we are going to discuss a very important concept of macroeconomics, that is balance of payments. As the name suggests, it's a balance of what? Balance of payments. As you can see on the screen, there's a two terminologies are written here, import and export. Most probably you are aware about import, that whatever we are purchasing from rest of the world, that is called import. We are getting those things in our domestic territory from rest of the world by purchasing, that is called import. And whatever we are selling to rest of the world is export. As you know, in the global world, there is a borderless world. Borderless world means the territories has political relevance, not the economic relevance. The territories nowadays have the political relevance only, not the economic relevance. Like every country enjoys competitive advantage in producing something. Like Gulf countries enjoy competitive advantage in production of crude oil. That's why they are exporting it to the rest of the world. Similarly, China is having competitive advantage in producing electronic goods. That's why it is exporting it to rest of the world. So what one thing that is export for a country may be import for another country who is purchasing it. As we can know, there shall be some statement. There shall be some statement that by that we can know that how much we have imported or how much we have exported and what income we have received from rest of the world and what amount we have paid to rest of the world. That is the subject matter of balance of payments. Balance of payments. You remember, it's the balance of payments. First of all, it's a systematic record and it's a double entry system. The double entry system. You know about double entry system? A system that records both sides of a transaction. That means credit and debit. So credit and debit. What is credit? That means whatever comes in will be credited. And whatever goes out would be debited. This is the simple rule of balance of payment. Don't get confused into balance of payment and accounts. It's a simple type of account. Before proceeding further, you remember, as we are exporting something or we are investing somewhere, investing out of the country, I'm writing OC. Exporting, you know that we are selling something to rest of the world. So what we'll receive? We'll receive foreign exchange. I'm writing as forex in short. What we'll receive, that is forex. So where the export would be recorded? As we are getting foreign exchange, so it would be credited. We won't look about whatever we are selling to rest of the world. We'll look into the payment only. Investing. We are investing somewhere. So we are making payment to rest of the world. So it would be debited. So do remember, balance of payment only talks about the payments. It will not talk about the physical movement of goods and goods as well as some other movement of investment and other things. So what is balance of payment? Definition is written. Balance of payment is of a country can be defined as a systematic statement of all economic transactions that takes place between the reporting country and rest of the world. What is reporting country? Reporting country is that country that is preparing or making balance of payment. Like if we are making BOP for USA, then USA would be a reporting country and the BOP would be made for USA only. So that is balance of payment. And it is for usually 1 year. That means it's a flow concept. Flow, that means whenever we measure a variable over a period of time, that it becomes a flow concept. Otherwise, whenever we measure a variable over a point on a point of time, that it would become a stock concept. Like money with me at a particular time, like at this moment of time, would be a stock concept. Whenever the things come for spending, then it would be a flow concept. Now coming to another aspect of BOP. BOP consists of two accounts, current account as well as capital account. Before going into detail of current account and capital account, you must know concept of asset and liabilities. Suppose I have purchased a land in UK. So what will it generate? It will generate my asset in terms of foreign exchange. You know about asset? Something on which you can prove your ownership. Liabilities. Suppose I have taken loan from UK. So it will generate a liability to repay it. Repay it. That means now I have indebted. That person would become my creditor and I have become the debtor. Debtor. So I have become the debtor. That's why it is a liability for me now. And liability in terms of what? In terms of foreign exchange. So current account and capital account, before proceeding to that, you must know about a concept that is an account which records all those transactions which does not affect asset and liability status of a country. That would be recorded in current account. Like we are exporting something, we are making payment, we are getting payment, we are getting payment in terms of foreign exchange. Nothing is there that can create a liability or asset in terms of foreign exchange. We are importing, then also we are making payment in terms of foreign exchange. It is not affecting our asset and liability. Some player is coming to our country for playing some game. We are making fee to him. We are paying fee to him. Then it is what? It is a transaction that doesn't affect asset and status, asset and liability status of a country in terms of foreign exchange. That clear? So hopefully the meaning of current account is clear to you. Now coming to capital account. Capital account. It records all those transactions which affect asset and liability status of the country. Suppose USA has borrowed 10 crore dollars from some country. So that has created a liability for you. So it would be shown in the credit side of BOP, of capital account of BOP, because it is bringing inflow of the money, inflow of the foreign exchange. And we have given loan to some another country. So it is outflow, but it is creating asset outside, because the person or the country who has borrowed money from us would become our debtor. And debtor are known as the asset, because we have the right to call money from them. That's why it would be an outflow for the country, but it would be recorded on the debit side of the capital account. So current account and capital account are clear to you now. And now coming to one more thing. What are the purposes of calculation of BOP? It tells us the dependence of a country to rest of the world. It is an indicator of money value or the value of the currency, because if we are importing too much, we are borrowing too much from rest of the world, it requires us to purchase foreign currency. We are purchasing foreign currency, so demand of foreign currency would rise. As we know, a simple concept of economics, whenever we demand something in a more quantity, it will create a rise in the value of that particular thing. It will raise the level of that currency. If we are exporting too much, we are exporting in a good quantity, the rest of the world will have to purchase our currency. Our currency would grow in demand. So again, it would raise the level of our currency. It will decide have to decide the government about the fiscal and trade policy. Fiscal policy, you may know that it is the budget policy of the government. So basically, these are the purposes of calculation of BOP. Now proceeding further. Now current account. What are the components of current account? This is BOT, balance of trade. That means visible item. Visible item. This is invisible item. And these are transfer payment. I will talk about them. Unrequited transfer or transfer payment. Export of goods and services. Export of goods and import of goods. export of goods and import of goods. So that part of current account that records only visible item, that is export of goods and import of goods, that would be your BOT, balance of trade or trade balance. And trade in services, factor income, that means they are reciprocal in nature, bilateral in nature. We are paying something and we are receiving something. That means we are making payment for some goods and services that we have received. Like I am teaching you and I am charging the fee. That is factor payment for me, and that is factor income for me. So if a payment for you, then it is an income for me. A compensation of employee, net investment income, that is net factor income from abroad. Net non-factor income like shipping, banking, insurance, tourism, software services which are being provided to rest of the world, and transfer payment. Suppose gift, grants or donations we are receiving from rest of the world and we are paying to rest of the world. As we can see during COVID time, so many countries have helped to different countries and other countries that would go the transfer payment because they were receiving that payment without giving any service or good in return. So these are the components of current account: visible, invisible, unrequited. Visible, that means that we can see or touch. As goods are the visible items, services are the invisible items, and transfer payment, these are unrequited, that we need not to repay them. These are the current accounts component. Hopefully the things are much clear to you now. So current account broadly has four components: trade in goods, that means visible item. It reflects the nation's net income because whatever investment and other things are being made, that would be shown in the capital account. Service, invisible. Income, investment income and other income like interest, profit and other things. Current unilateral transfers, unrequited transfers. Unilateral means one side. Bilateral means both sides. Donation, gift, grants, remittances. That grants might appear as the component of capital account, but are included in the current account as they are unilateral and creates no liability because the recipient has no burden to repay them. I am making it clear to you. Suppose your country is facing some problem with sanitation. So World Bank has made help of $10 million to construct the sanitation facility. So you can consider that the World Bank has created asset in our country. No. Though it has created, it may appear like a capital account transaction, but you remember, we don't have any liability to repay that. That's why it is coming in current account. If we have the liability, if World Bank has given loan to us, then we need to repay that. That's why that would reflect in the capital account. But here they are making help to us in the form of current transfer. That's why that we don't include them in the capital account. We include them in the current account. So hopefully the meaning of balance of payment, the components of balance of payment are clear to you. The next class will discuss about the capital account and the different status of balance of payment. As we can see, the name in itself contains balance. That means BOP will always be balanced. That means credit side will always be equal to debit side. That's how, or how would it happen? We'll discuss in the next class. Thank you so much, everyone.